Good morning. Today we will start with the next chapter, the sixth chapter, that is the 100 Dresses Part 2 by Albisour Esther. So this chapter is in continuation of the previous part, that is the 100 Dresses Part 1, and this chapter is going to give us a brief idea why Wanda Petronsky had not been coming to the school. So in the previous chapter we have read that it was Wanda Petronsky who was the winner of the contest, of the dress designing contest, and the teacher was very proud of her. And it is that she had not been coming to the school for the past few days. So this is going to reveal the reason why she had not been coming to the school. So let's begin with the explanation of the chapter. While the class was circling the room, the monitor from the principal's office brought Miss Mason a note. Miss Mason read it several times and studied it thoughtfully for a while. Then she clapped her hands. Attention class, everyone back to their seat. When the shuffling of feet had stopped and the room was still and quiet, Miss Mason said, I have a letter from Wanda's father that I want to read. Miss Mason stood there for a moment, and the silence in the room grew tense and expectant. The teacher adjusted her glasses slowly and deliberately. Her manner indicated that what was coming. This letter from Wanda's father was a matter of great importance. Everybody listened closely as Miss Mason read the brief note. So now this lesson, it begins with all the students in room number 13 when they were having a look at the beautiful dresses that were displayed everywhere in room number 13, and most of them were the drawings of Wanda Petronsky, and everyone was having a look at the amazing drawings, and everyone was admiring the drawings that were made by Wanda Petronsky. So that was the time when the monitor, he came from the principal office and he brought a note for Miss Mason. And Miss Mason, she read the note several times and she could not believe what was written in it. So what she did was, she told everybody to go back to their seats, and then after that she did wait for a moment for everybody to get back to their seats, and then she waited for everyone to settle down. And then after that, what happens is, she just told everyone that there was a letter from Wanda Petronsky's father, and after that she just kept quiet for a minute. So that time, when the children heard that there was a letter from Wanda Petronsky's father, so there was silence in the class that time, and this created this letter from Wanda Petronsky's father. So this created tension in the mind of her students. So what she did was, she just adjusted her spectacles that time and she began reading the letter, and everybody did listen to the letter very carefully. So now the teacher reads out the note that had been written by Wanda's father, and it had been given to the principal. So she reads now, Dear teacher, my Wanda will not come to your school anymore. Jake also. Now we move away to big city. No more holler Pollack. No more ask why funny name. Plenty of funny names in the big city. Yours truly, Jan Petronsky. So now in this, what is given here is the letter. The teacher reads out the letter, and it starts with the salutation to the class teacher. And then after that, the father says that his children, both Wanda and Jake, both of them, they will not be coming to the school anymore. And he said that they will no more be there in that big city, and now they are planning to move away from that big city. So he says that they are planning to, he mentioned that they are shifting to another big city where nobody is going to take care, nobody's going to care about the strange name. And there are many people there in big cities who have funny names. And like funny name because the children of the class, they used to think that Wanda Petronsky, although she was a Polish immigrant to America, so her name was quite different from the other students of the class. So the children thought that she had a funny name. A deep silence met the reading of this letter. Miss Mason took off her glasses, blew on them, and wiped them on her soft white handkerchief. Then she put them on again and looked at the class. When she spoke, her voice was very low. So now in this, what is given here is, it is given that after hearing what was there in the letter, after reading out the letter, so there was deep silence. Everyone was left speechless. And Miss Mason, what she did was, she just removed her glasses and she just wiped them with her handkerchief. So she was also quite stunned, and she also spoke to the class in a very low voice. And when she addressed the class, that time her voice was very low, and she was quite unhappy with whatever was written in the letter. I am sure that none of the boys and girls in room 13 would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feeling because his or her name happened to be a long, unfamiliar one. So now what she says is, she says that when she spoke to the class, so she spoke in a low voice, and she did to tell the children about the disappointment. And she said that there is nobody in room number 13 who would intentionally do that and who would hurt somebody's feeling. And she said that whatever had happened, that is not quite good that has happened.